Dark Side of the Paranormal with your hosts, June Lundgren and Wendy Stanton. Stay with us as we discuss all things paranormal. Welcome to the Dark Side.
Welcome to another episode of the Dark Side of the Paranormal with June,
Wendy,
and we have with us today Ghosts and Girls Paranormal International. From the UK, we have Debra Burman, Lauren Charlesworth.
Got it right this time.
And Katie Larby.
Our Katie is not here today, but we have the other two wonderful members.
Yes.
So,
Say hi.
hello.
So basically, we wanted to find out, how you got into the paranormal.
Well, what's happened is obviously we're part of you guys, so we're part of Ghosts and Girls, and it's a real honour for us to be part of you guys, I must say. Sadly, like we said, Katie's not here with us. Her cousin's pregnant, so she's gone to a nice baby shower. So leaving the hard work to us, Well, it started, I think, for me personally, it started when I was younger. When I lived in a house, the house was previously bombed in the war, and it was rebuilt, and we moved in. And I saw a little girl that was there. I was only young myself. This little girl appeared. My mum used to call her my imaginary friend because no one else could see her. My brother used to wind me up, used to sit on her and then give her a kick every now and then I used to have a go at him, and like you do. Anyway, the imaginary friend faded out, and as obviously you go into teenage years and people tell you that those things are not real and you shouldn't be having those sort of friends. And it faded out, and for a little while anyway. But I always knew things, and I didn't know why I knew things. So I'd go to school, and I knew what was going to happen before it happened. And I'd avoid situations because they didn't seem very unsafe to me, and then my friends would go off. So I always had this knowledge of knowing, but never really knew what to do with it. And then one day, I think our very, very first paranormal was when my dad died.
Yeah.
And Lauren and I were upset, and
The doorbell kept going off, didn't it, as well?
yeah, the doorbell was ringing. We'd open it, there'd be no one there, and me and Mum would be like, it keeps on ringing. We'd be no one there, and then things would move in the house. The comb would drop on the floor, and one day I said to Lauren, "Didn't I go and open the door?"
Yeah, because it was my granddad's funeral. He kept ringing the doorbell. I was like, I'm too scared to answer it. Mum was like, no, go answer it. It's Granddad's. I was like, no, it's not. And Mum was like, yeah, just do it. So I opened the door, and it was there in front of my face.
And it was quite interesting that for us. Indeed, when the funeral director came, she was sat in my dad's seat, and I said to the doorbell were ringing a minute, and the funeral director jumped out of her seat, or my dad's seat, as the case may be. But that's where it all started for us. And then there was a mention from my mum's friend of a little house in St Oves, not far from where my mum lived, and it was a little cottage, and it was known as a witch's prison. So we set off one day on a little adventure just to have a look round it.
I picked up those emotions.
Lauren picked up a lot of unhappiness outside, and the history was interesting, and it drew me to this little cottage. There was an instant draw in there for me. Lauren found the number on the door. Yeah, we phoned the owner. The owner was doing tours, so we went along. The owner was telling us a bit of history of the house while we was in there, but
we saw different things.
Yeah, while we was in there, we'd see knives and forks physically fall on the floor.
Orbs coming across
Orbs had come across us. And Lauren knew then that you were seeing orbs.
I thought I was going mad, but I was like, no, I'm actually seeing things.
And she'd go, Mum, and I was like, we was literally in front of our eyes. These orbs would fly by, and my skirt moved. Yeah. So that was the start of our adventures, really, of us learning more. And then obviously we done a bit of research, and we come across obviously you, June, and you helped us along the way.
Yeah.
And since then we've done lots of different venues, investigations, and our abilities have just grown and grown.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where it all started for us. Katie is obviously, she's my daughter-in-law, so she sort of come along with us to one or two, and she has an instant natural instinct for it. She started to see figures. Indeed, she'd sit in my mum. She'd see figures walk across the garden, and because my mum's is all built on like Roman land, so you'd see the figures. She sees figures where she works, and so she's come up and was like, Debbie, this, what's going on? And I'm like, well, I think we need to obviously have a chat with June, see what's going on. And it appears that the three of us working together were the spirits seemed to know that we knew they were there.
Yeah.
And it seems to be right in front of us.
Yeah, it just really helps when it's like, women that work in an office and they all have their period at different times, and suddenly it all becomes the same. When you're around a bunch of mediums and stuff like that with gifts, then yours have a tendency to get stronger.
Yep, and more stuff happens when you and remember when we were all together, your house is a little active other than your biological monster who showed up. But it was very busy.
Get loads in his house.
Yeah, we get a lot of spirits that come and go, as you found out.
Yeah.
Because obviously where we are, houses are very old, the buildings are very old. The atmosphere can be quite almost very dark at times and heavy. Obviously the history that surrounds the UK and the age of all the buildings, it's unavoidable, and we're part of that. Our house is built on land that we've found coins from Henry VIII era when we've dug up the land, so the land itself has got a lot of history on it. And we overnight we see figures walking.
Even the cabin bottom of the gardens.
Our little house at the end of the garden seems to attract. I think there's a portal next to it, and it seems to attract a lot of activity. You'd go in there, the light will go off, and it tends to
bangs.
The activity increases when Lauren and I go in there.
I used to be scared of the cabin because I went to Sherborne standing with the paranormal stuff before I met June, and I said to Mum, "Did you hear that?" She said, "Yeah, I heard that as well." So we're not both not going mad. So it's because what Mum mentioned.
But yeah, my partner Lauren's dad's not too impressed with it all.
No.
No, but he's very accepting.
He is. John's very accepting.
And he's supportive.
Yeah.
Very accepting and supportive, but very weary at the same time.
He is the sweetest gentleman, and I do mean gentleman. Just love him.
Especially when we all met up. I don't think he was quite impressed with the way the witches fit together.
No, but he was there.
Yeah.
He was with us all the way. What a dude.
He did.
It was good with the history though, wasn't he, though, at the same time? It was all what you asked for, didn't you? You got the answers to your...
He knows the history.
Definitely,
he reads up on the history, whereas, like, as we know, we get given the history from the people themselves rather than read it. I don't like to read and know it. I like to be told it in people in...
And see it as well.
Yeah, and see it in their words so that we get it right.
Yeah.
Because
you mean for the next trip I have to bring another 30 pounds of history books?
no.
He's like, no, don't do it.
I'll tell him the history.
How about DIY books? Want some more of those?
No, that's a big no, not DIY. No, got enough to do list on
DIY.
At home. No
DIY.
Okay.
No.
So something happened to you when you went to that little place in St.
We it's Lauren, me, Katie, and there were a couple of others that were also there, and we was leading the investigation, and we were standing in the room, and you can watch where you're standing in each room on CCTV. So there was another couple of people downstairs watching the CCTV while we were stood around this table.
Oh, that was freaky, wasn't it?
Yeah, and
the table flipping, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were just on the table, and the guy that was downstairs shouts out, "Debbie, you need to come down." And I looked, and what's all this about?
You was confused,
I was
wasn't you? It's like,
confused.
what's going on?
The room, all I can say is the room got incredibly dark.
And really
cold. And very
angry.
Heavy and angry.
Yeah.
That was the sense that you got in the room. And it was darker than dark.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't your natural dark.
It was suspicious, wasn't it, in the room?
And the air was
yeah.
Yeah. And I got called down and to watch the footage of
left me upstairs.
I left Lauren upstairs. But to watch the footage of my face almost physically changing in what looked like a witch with a big nose, or
Joker.
It's hard to explain. It was like a smiley face, like the Joker from Batman, with this hooked witch nose.
And your eyes glowed.
My eyes glowed. Yeah.
It looks a different figure compared to Mum, compared to that then. And it's like, is that you, Mum, or is that someone else?
And then I had the burn on my back. There was a handprint, like
awful.
Almost like a burn on my back, like somebody had come and hit me.
Yeah.
And it felt like sunburn. And when I looked, it was like an actual handprint that was on
someone
my back,
like
touching my shoulder. And it was there.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it was a bit of a shock to see that happened.
It went in 10 minutes, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the burn went within 10 minutes. There was no scarring, there was no nothing. It completely disappeared.
It was weird.
I didn't physically feel anything happen to me, but you could sense the darkness, the darker than darkness in the room at the time. And the change was literally in front of you. It was on telly. It was on Ghost Court on camera.
It's on number 76.
Yeah, and it was
100.
Out of 100, it was 76. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. So it was actually, the footage has been on telly. It's also on on YouTube as well for people to see. But yeah, that was an interesting experience that evening. I'd say I got burnt. I wasn't scared. This is the ironic thing, is it wasn't scaring me, but I knew that it was there and it wasn't a nice presence.
It wasn't, because I could feel like anger, proper frustrated, and you just want your attention like constantly, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You can feel being watched.
It was. I shouted, didn't I? Like, the anger had overwhelmed, and I remember shouting at the group, calling them some names that I won't repeat on here.
No.
But these were words that, you know, even by my standards were not good words. And they was like, you know, what are you saying? And I'm like, I don't know. I just couldn't control the anger in saying it.
You were channeling.
Mum, it wasn't Mum. It's like, I know when Mum had to speak when she was done, but it wasn't her. Like, her voice was deeply changed. It was like a deep voice. It's really hard to describe, but it wasn't her. It's probably like someone else inside us, just like in front of you talking. It's like, wow.
So yeah, that was one of our most interesting moments. But we have, you know, we've been to lots of other places in and around. So yeah, we've had over him, and I know that we did when you guys was over with us as well. Because I mean, like when we took you to the secret bunker, that's a really interesting place to be around.
Yeah,
you picking up on you know, it's the nuclear bunker that was built just after the war to keep people safe. That's a lot, and in the bunker you can lay on the beds that were there. And she was laying on the bed and it shouted out, "Get off, death!" Well, I've never seen her get up so quick.
Yeah, she literally got up and ran to
she needs. Yeah, the secret bunker. Like I said, it was an interesting place. Lot of EVPs. We got out death. Breathe. Like he had trouble with his breathe.
K2.
The K2 was flickering away.
Yeah.
That's another. It's a lot. It's on the telly a lot over here, the bunker, because it is known for its history and the spirits that go round. And I think that June, you picked up on the guy when you was there, the one that he won't leave. He feels responsible for the deaths that took place, and he won't leave. You know, he doesn't realise he's dead, and it's really a tough one for him. And people talk about the chemicals and how it affects. They were warned that they may affect the children, obviously when they're producing the chemicals and everything that was used. So it's a really sad place to be. But it is, what's really interesting there is that you can touch the items that were used. So you've still got the old type phones that were there, the old desks that they used. So you can touch and really feel what went on around that sort of area. So in most museums, you don't get the opportunity to do that, but you do in there. Hence why we could lay on the old beds, and you can really feel and sense and see.
And wear the uniform.
Even the old uniforms are there that you can try on. So it really gives you.
Yeah, the hats.
Hats, it really gives you. It boosts the abilities to really see and sense the people that were there and to understand what went on and how they felt and how they're feeling now.
And there's a few places that you can actually touch things.
It's very, But what's really interesting is it's 125 feet underground, which means that there's no phone signal, no radio signal, but you're getting readings, and you're still getting, so there is no signal for it to be transmitted to, but you're picking up the voices. So, it indicates that this isn't just a radio that's flicking through stations, because there is no stations down there. Exactly. It is genuinely the spirits that are there, and they're talking to us, and they want to communicate. Yep. So, I've been there a few times with you guys, and Lauren and I have stayed there, haven't we, a couple of times before. So, we do like going there a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I know when we were there, we went to the caves.
Yes, I was going to say, let's talk about the caves, which their history goes way, way back.
Oh, yeah, Chislehurst Caves. Yeah, Chislehurst Caves was built for World War I and II, and it was a way of people escaping the bombs, so they would go down under the caves to be safe. So they used to pay X amount of shillings or what it was back then to go under there just to be safe. There was a hospital there, a chapel.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything was there, under there, because that's where they used to live.
Yeah.
And, so there would have been births, deaths. There was sacrifices. I think you saw the place where they were sacrificing.
Oh, yeah.
The big bell went in it.
So, there was, again, that lots and lots of activity. As we saw, we were being led by the guide, but behind us were a lot more people that others couldn't see.
Yeah.
Just following us around.
Yeah, we had quite a crowd following us.
I had a hold of Lauren's arm, and I'm like, oh no, I know we're heading right towards the sacrificial altar, and we ended up right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So dark and gloomy there.
So dark. And like you said, I wasn't winding you up when I said you had lanterns, the old oil lanterns, because you were going like something like Seven Dwarfs as you walk down. It's, as you know, pitch black. When those go off, you cannot see your hand in front of your face.
Yeah.
So that's also, there's a lot of spirit history to the caves as well. There's 26 miles of these caves that go right under the Kent coast. And, you can, different directions, but you have to be guided because you would easily get lost down there.
That's the first time when you got lost, didn't you?
Yeah. I remember going down there the first time, and I like to do my own thing, really, so that I can touch and start to feel a sense of the place. And I lost the rest of the group, didn't I?
The thing was, you can't find me up because there's no signal.
Yeah, there's no signal to phone anyone to come and get you.
Where are you? I was like, I don't know.
I remember shouting and it echoing down, and Lauren come to rescue me. But for 1 minute, I actually thought, am I going to get out of here?
Yeah.
Because it is so big, and you cannot see anything. It's a good place, but there is. I think that there was a reward, I think, for people if they could manage staying a night down there, in amongst the waterfall, because a lady was known to have drowned in this water fountain, and she haunts the caves. She's well known to haunt these caves, and there was a reward if somebody could spend the night. Nobody ever actually managed to do it.
Not the whole night.
The whole night.
We would have done it.
We'd have had a good time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that they should, at least let one of us have a go.
Yeah.
But I think, the people that stayed there wasn't psychics, and I think that the darkness got the best of them.
Oh, yeah.
Your senses are hypersensitive anyway, and it just got the best of them, and they just couldn't manage it, and they left. But I do wish it was up again, because I'd give it a go.
Yeah.
And spend the night down there. Just give me the sleeping bag. Give me my sleeping bag and coffee, and I'll sit there and wait.
Right?
Yep.
Gotta have the coffee.
Yep.
Got to have the coffee, yeah. Yeah, got to have the coffee. But yeah, that's another really interesting one. But I know you went to Hever Castle as well, and I know that June's been to Hampton Court.
Yeah.
With any royal place, there is royal history. And, I know that you met Henry VIII when you was here the first time and the second time.
Yep.
I saw Anne Boleyn, but she had a head, so.
There you go.
Yeah.
Before
she lost it.
She lost her head, yeah.
She just wasn't a very happy camper.
No.
She didn't like him very much.
No.
No, I don't think any of the ladies did. He was a lot bigger than he's actually displayed in his pictures.
Right, and the little the wax one of him. Oh my gosh, both June and I looked at that, and she's like, no, it was just two of that.
Yeah.
And the armor. Oh my God, his armor.
He would never have fit in it.
He would never have fit in it.
No, it would never. No way. He wouldn't fit in it.
He was shorter than short, man. He was a short, stubby.
He didn't want to admit
overweight dude.
History is kind.
With delusions of grandeur.
Definitely. Yeah, 100%. But yeah, it's always interesting when you go into royal places. So much history. And the different eras get mixed up sometimes. You might see one from the Tudor, and then you'll see one from a different era, and they almost walk past each other but not notice each other. And you're distinguishing between what era they're from as they're ranting and raving about one thing and another.
And the clothes, the clothes are a dead giveaway.
Yeah, a dead, yeah. It's just...
You get the sadness from the little ones that are stuck there.
Yeah, at the tower. Yeah.
That's when it is really sad. Yeah, it is really sad,
Especially don't understand what's going on, do
they don't. The children that are running, they don't really understand.
Yeah. And when we went to the tower, went into a place called the Cradle Room, and there was just so much overwhelming sadness in there from the loss of the child. There was I could see a woman rocking a dead baby in her arms. And I thought, well, that's not a very nice place to be. Let's just leave her alone. Let her be.
Yeah. Though you wish you could help her to realize you can go and be with that baby. She's not ready yet.
No, not yet.
No, like you say, it's really sad when you come across that sort of thing. It's very powerful. Very, very powerful. And the senses affect your senses. I mean, that affects me. I start crying on her behalf because, you get overwhelmed by the sheer power of the sadness that's there. Cause it's not nice. But yeah, no, we've been in some places.
The cemetery that you took us to, what was the name of it?
Oh, we just took you to Romford Cemetery. It's just our local cemetery, not far from me.
There's a lot of history in that cemetery.
Yeah,
and we had another person with us, a very good friend who does not do this, but I was with her and I was picking up on all the lost little ones. She picked up on the lost little ones, and I was picking up on the young military men who were lost. And it was very heavy. Tell us about that area.
What, the one? Oh, I know what area you mean, yeah. I found out something very interesting when I was with you guys. Going back to the house that I lived in that was blown up. And then they rebuilt it and we moved in. And I hadn't realised that, obviously I was seeing the little girl at the time. And the area of the cemetery where we took you, I haven't been over there for years. I've no reason really to go there. And then when I looked at the history of the road that I lived on, and there it was that a family was blown up in the house that our house was rebuilt on, and there was the little 5-year-old girl that was there that I was seeing, just listed in all of these names. And I never knew, and so I looked back and thought that was the girl I was seeing. The girl
was it World War I or II?
Say that again, Linda.
Pardon me?
What'd you say?
Was that World War One or two? I can't remember.
World War Two. That was World War Two. Yeah, that was World War Two. Because part of the road was bombed, and the funeral for the families were held not just round the corner in one of the Christian churches round the corner.
Yeah.
And there she was, listed, age 5. You know, and when you look at the pictures, it was the house that I lived in that was blown up. So for me, it was, wow, this is,
quite emotional.
Yeah, it really made me quite emotional because that girl that
there's a date for you, yeah.
There it was, that was my friend, and she was my friend for a long time. I've not heard from her. We moved out, we moved on, and maybe one day I'll go back and we'll maybe I'll see her. I don't know, but yeah, that was certainly validation for me. That there she was. Yeah, it did overwhelm me. I cried, didn't I? Then, yeah,
sad.
Yeah, it was very, very sad.
Being there was overwhelming because of the heaviness of the history. Because unlike here, we have the headstones that'll say, Air Force or whatever, the dates they lived and died. But your headstones told a story. And so it's like on the front you'd have one thing, on the back you'd have another. And so you had more of a clear idea. This 17-year-old young man was in the Royal Air Force and he was blown up. And, it just got you because it's like you felt you knew all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's with that, in many cases here, we do have cemeteries specifically for those in the military, but a lot of people aren't. They're in cemeteries with their families, and that cemetery does have a lot of military in there, a lot of history. It dates back a long time. You see the headstones are years old. Some you can't even see because the writing's gone, or they've cracked. Yeah, you see yourself how old it is.
They're sinking into the ground. That was crazy. I couldn't believe that.
They sink, Yeah, they sink, and if family don't look after them, they don't get looked after. It's really sad. They just get left overgrown and just forgotten. But they're still there. The people are still there. It's very, very sad.
It was very, very busy. And what I found is so many of those spirits touched me were kind of like, I'm okay with this. I'm just letting you know this is what went on.
Yeah.
They were very proud of who they were. So we were talking about the cemetery and its history. And so you don't go there very often, you said?
No. See, that was probably the first time I've been there in years. There's no reason for me to go there. I passed it, don't get me wrong, because obviously you drive past. But no, I don't really go in there. I think I went in there couple of years ago because I like doing photography, particularly spooky photography, and it seemed like the ideal place to do it. So that was the last time I went in there. It was a foggy day to take some pictures.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Yeah, no, we did got some really spooky photos. Yeah, we got really interesting ones. Couple of figures come up. It was really good. But that was the last time that I went there.
So you're supposed to go more often.
Yeah, I think we should. Yeah, I think we should. Yeah, it's close by.
You need to go to Hampton Court like I did. It's really, really active. I think you'll pick up a lot of stuff there. You'll get to talk to Henry.
I say that.
Yeah, we'll have to go there and talk to Henry. Yeah, because I know you've got a lot of activity there when you was there.
And Queen Anne.
Yeah. It's I know you've got that filming when you've got the orbs and coming out of the. I'm not sure. Was it the dungeon or the cellar?
They were coming out of the wine. We were in the wine room, and it was an area that they used to store the meat and stuff where it was colder. They dug area underneath. They used to store their meat and stuff in there. And it's like, and when I came into the room, I picked up on it, and I'm like, okay, there's something down there that's not nice. So I was with Howard Hughes, and He's like, really? I'm like, yeah. And I told my son, I said, you're going to want to get a video of this. And then all these orbs start coming out as I'm doing the removal. They're like, we're getting out of here.
That's good, yeah. Yeah,
it was really clear one, wasn't
it?
It's
so clear. Yeah, we watched it. It's so clear. We'll have to take a trip there and see if we can get the.
Yeah, you should go because it's awesome. There's a little girl that kind of hides in there. She hides among the casts and stuff like that.
Did she want to cross the light, or did she want to hang about?
She wasn't. She was pretty scared at the time because of the negative that was there. But you should be able to go and help her to cross. Mm-hmm. She just didn't even want to come out because of the negative, see?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we'll go there and we'll see whether she's ready to cross now.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Then you get like Queen Anne, who's, my son's like, taking pictures of the fresco and the stairs. And he's like, Mom, there's something walking up the stairs. And I'm like, oh, it's just Queen Anne. Don't worry about it. All she could complain about was the frescoes weren't the right color. I'm like,
they are.
Wasn't it Queen Anne that moaned that the decorations were right?
It's amazing, these spirits. It's like, I don't like this color. I don't like that color. It happens over here too.
Yeah, I told her, I can't do anything about it. Sorry.
Yeah.
I said, it's supposed to be period correct. And she's like, it's not period correct. They were brighter than that. The colors were more intense.
They tried.
Whatever.
Only a woman spirit could do that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a female that wasn't too happy when we did our thing that one.
Yeah, when I went to the tower, it's like this creepo was like following me, and I'm like, all through the whole thing, it's like, okay, it's like stalking me or something, walking behind me. It wouldn't talk to me or anything like that. There's 206 steps, I think it was, in the Tower of London. We finally got to the very top, and then you see a room that has all the death masks of the kings and stuff.
Yeah.
And there he was. I'm like, oh, that's who you are, King James. And then he disappeared. So
he just wanted you to know who he was.
Yeah. And then I ran into him again at Hampton Court. I'm like, really?
Get around.
Yeah. So you live in the Essex area over there.
Yeah, we live in Essex, so we live just outside of London. Not far, as you know, it's only a train journey in. It's not far at all. But yeah, we live just outside, which is just as well.
Do you have anything coming up? Anything that you're going to do in the future?
There's one. We spoke about it.
Yeah, the Line wasn't pub.
Yeah, there's a local pub called the Red Lion. And there's a lady spirit that haunts there. There's a lot of history to it. It was built way back in the 1500s. And there's one particular room where there's supposed to be a lot of activity. We're going to book ourselves in there for the night and see what goes on, see what's what.
Yes. See who comes in the middle of the night.
Yeah, exactly.
So, we thought we'd have, have a few munchies in there
and have a conversation with the guys.
See what happens.
Yeah.
And
can't wait for that.
So yeah, we're gonna book into that. We're going to hopefully, I'm hoping that if you guys come over, we can go together, but, we'll see what happens. But there's an asylum in Liverpool, and it was mental health asylum. Previously, it was a children's home. Very, very sad place for mental health. They've even still got the old mortuary part in there, where and they've got the furniture's still there. It's very, very sad. It comes up quite a lot. We'd have to go on with a big investigation team, because for us to go in there, it would cost lots of money on our own. So we would, but you can go off and do your own thing. But I think that there'll be lots of sadness. I get the impression, even without being there, there's people that would want to cross, because there's going to be a lot of suicides that would be there. So, I'm looking forward to going there, purely because of the sadness. I think that we can help, because there'll be people that.
So you have to pay over there to go into places like that.
Yeah.
Most of them over here, we don't have to pay.
It depends on which one it is.
Yeah, it just depends.
On if it's some of the bigger ones that have been touched by like some of the bigger television shows, then they want their money.
Yeah. We went to Alcatraz and we did a night investigation, and it was relatively cheap. And you can, you spend the evening there and going around, and everything like that. It was quite interesting. There was some negatives there, and when I got there, I found out there was a demon that was entombed under the rock itself.
Shocker.
Yeah, big surprise. That's why there's so much negativity there, unfortunately. Yeah. But you're gonna find, people. We've run into a cell block right away. First thing, and they give you these little things to hold on your ears, the headphones, they give you a recording about the history of the rock and stuff. And so I just barely got into the cell block, and I hear this guy off to my right saying, hey, you going to help us? And I turn and I look at him, and he looks like Peter Lorre in his younger years with bug eyes, buck teeth, and skinny little rat-looking thing. And I'm like, not if you don't stop bugging me, I won't. He's like, okay.
Yes. They do tend to do that a lot, bug you, and then you're like, oh no,
Get your attention. It's like,
yeah. It's like, pay attention, we're here, we want help. Thank you.
Yeah. You have to back off sometimes because you can't get anything else done. So my least favorite place was actually, because you go through the place, but outside, when we went back out, we were getting ready to go, and I passed by the shower area, which is this big, huge open area. And when I was in the window, I saw so many awful things. I just had to turn around, and I told June, I'm like, okay, that just broke my heart. I mean, I know that they were people who had done wrong in there, but wow, the wrong that was going on that I saw just got to me, and so we didn't get down in time for our ferry. We had to take the last one because we're kind of slow.
We like to linger towards the end of the line, and
that's exactly what we do. Linger,
do our own thing.
That's what I do as well, and get lost in the meantime.
Exactly. Well, it's pitch black down there. What do you expect?
And they took us. We went over to cell block D. Get it, D. That's where the solitary confinement was. And they said, "Who wants to go in here?" And we're like, "Oh, we do."
And we were the idiots taping. We recorded it. All you get pretty much is black, and we were laughing. We couldn't help it. It just made us laugh.
It's the one where Zach and stuff, and Aaron saw the red eyeballs.
Yeah,
just like all there was a one in there. We just took it out, and it's like, okay, so that was fun. Move on. They wouldn't let me record. I kept trying to record,
and I was able to,
and it kept turning itself off. Turn it off. I'm like, you buttheads, leave it alone.
What do we expect?
Yeah. Funny.
There's some really interesting places we want to go to. We're going to go to Goldfield Hotel
in Nevada
this summer.
Yep, looking forward to that.
That'll be good.
Yeah, there's a negative that hangs out there, so we're going to take care of business.
We're going to go with another investigator, so that should be fun. It's always fun to get to hang out with others who do it because we all have different ways of doing and seeing. And so you can learn, you can share things and improve yourself. And that's what this is all about, is helping each other with information and making it easier and better for us to help those who need us.
Yeah, and what one person picks up is not necessarily what another person picks up.
And we don't see them all the same.
No, everybody, will see things the same because these, the entities will put into your mind how they wish you to see them. So if they wish you to see them, as an old woman, you see them, or as a young person, okay. It's just about how they want you to see them.
Yeah, that's right. Lauren, they seem to come to you, don't they? With
white
faces.
They always come to me. Last I saw negative, it was at the cage. And I don't know what it is. They'll actually come to me. Like every time I see one, like before, I see a clown face, like with white face and red teeth, tops and red eyes. That's the last time I see one. I don't know why they come to me. Do you know what I mean? No one else doesn't see, apart from me. I was like, it's a bit creepy. Do you know what I mean?
That's why they come to you that way.
Yeah, because they know you think they're creepy.
See, it's big, black, wavy disruptions. Rarely can I make out a face.
Yeah.
They wiggle. It's like when
Yeah, they do. I agree. Yeah.
kind of like oil of water, wiggly. So it's crazy. It's like I couldn't half the time tell you who it was unless they want me to. But that's creepy in and of itself.
Yeah.
Now our nasty little demons that I deal with, they look like deformed potatoes half the time.
They are. I agree. Yeah, they do. It's just like,
and they have ugly teeth, and they have like eyeball places, but no eyeballs, and they're screaming at you, and it's like, you know,
that's what it feels like. Yeah.
That's why I am dealing with
Yeah. That's why I said to myself, I message sort of see if these demons are where they are. I don't want to know them. I don't want to pull me back. I'm good, thanks. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, when I was young, they would show themselves as spiders because I hate spiders.
Yeah.
You know, but when you learn as you're growing up and you see them all the time to actually see them as they really are. So, because they'll make you try to see them in whatever way they can to scare you, but they couldn't scare me. So, you know, it's no more spiders. It's how they look. That's their true form I see.
You know what gets me is, this is going to sound weird. One of the scariest ones that happened to me, as I look back now, is a very beautiful, peaceful one. I was probably about 7, and I woke up, and we lived in a small, I believe you call them caravans, like manufactured homes.
Yeah, caravans,
and I sat up, and it's like I had no walls in this room, and I looked up, and I saw Christ himself with my mother behind him.
Wow.
And it terrified me. I thought my mom was dead.
Yeah.
But I have yet to figure out, all I can think of is he was letting me know that at some point in my life it was going to be Mom and me. My father did pass away 29 years ago. But that was terrifying to me until I realized Mom was okay. But he was just beautiful. And then I went to take garbage or something one day, and there was this picture of Jesus, because I had never seen him look like this. I'd seen all these other pictures. But here is this beautiful face that I had seen. And I freaked out. First off, who in their right mind throws away a picture of Jesus? And here was the man that I had seen. And that was in my kids' bedrooms for years.
Yeah.
And so that was scary, but now it's beautiful and peaceful. And we have been able to, it's not so much an investigation, it was more of a removal / exorcism. We were blessed to be able to be in his presence, as well as the presence of the almighty evil himself. Yes.
Yeah.
And you never put words to that. And I had one person a while back say to me, you were in Lucifer's presence and you're alive. And I'm like, we're having this conversation, aren't we?
Yeah, with Ariel there's no way.
Yeah,
there's no way he would do anything.
And what I saw was him walking this big, ginormous. You know, you've seen like all the renderings, each person's idea of. Again, he was this black mass to me. I couldn't see eyes, I couldn't see a face, but he was big and black. I could see big black wings. I mean, he was like 9-10 feet tall, and he was again that wavy disruption that I saw. And then right next to me, to my right, out comes this big, beautiful hand in gold. It was just, oh my gosh, it was spectacular. Yeah. And what hit me was Christ was offering this demon that was attaching itself to this poor woman. He was offering it salvation. So that tells you he will give you every chance in this and his world. And it's awe-inspiring and just so many feelings.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
it didn't want it because it's so used to the lies and everything of where it comes from that it turned down Jesus. And so Lucifer came for it.
And there were 3 of us there. We had, another member who is an ordained minister. And we checked on each other throughout the week because it was just such an physically emotional to our bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we checked on each other left and right, and we sat there. It's like, wow, this is just amazing. Who gets to have experiences like these?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so you've had yours that leave you speechless, and you're like, I can't put words to it.
Like when you saw Michael and Jesus.
Oh yeah, I've seen
And
yes.
feathers, you got white feathers.
The white feathers, yeah. I've had a.
I'll tell you about your
Oh, the white feather, yeah. I had yeah. I needed my dad to reassure me. He was here, but I wanted some reassurance. And I'd been thinking in my head, I'm going to get a little feather tattooed to resemble my dad on my arm. And I gets up one morning, it was a frosty morning, and right on my car was this big, defiant white feather. Clear white.
Literally clean white feather.
Embedded in the frost on the windscreen. And that was I knew that was the feather. I felt the warmth, and I went to the tattooist and said, you have to tattoo this shape, this feather. It's this feather. You need to hand draw it and tattoo me this feather. It's my dad's feather. Oh. And the warmth that you get, you can't explain. You just know. You know, it's overwhelming. I remember one night I was at my mum's, and my mum is, when of a night time at my mum's, the street lights go out, so it's very dark. And I remember waking up and the room was bright white. It was, you know, brighter than the white you could possibly imagine. And the warmth that surrounded that was huge. And I just sat there speechless, absolutely speechless, thinking, you know, where is this? The first thing I did was look out the window thinking, oh, it's a light that's coming in. But there was no lights there. And it was just beautiful, you know, when you think, you know, that to me was absolutely overwhelming. You know, your face, you don't know what to say. You just stare. And then with that, it just drifted slowly back. And absolutely overwhelming.
I've had people see my dad multiple times. One friend looked over and my dad was sitting there in the passenger seat of the vehicle looking at him. And they were like freaking out. And my first thought was, I said, how do you look? And it's like, what? How do you look? What do you mean? And I'm like, did he have his glasses? And, you know, no, he didn't. And I said, what color was his hair? Because he'd started turning gray because he was 72. His hair was black. And I'm like, he'd reached perfection.
Yeah.
And for people to see that, it's like, oh, my goodness. And I've actually channeled him to my sister one time. We were talking about him, and all of a sudden, all this stuff starts coming out. And I'm like, nope, I didn't. That wasn't me.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, it is. Do you know, one day I was visiting, I was like my day job, and I was visiting one of the clients that I see. And we were talking, and suddenly I got this picture of this man in my head, and he was wearing red Bermuda shorts. That's the only one. And I felt this overwhelming. I had to say to this person, "Have you got? It just come out from nowhere. Have you got red Bermuda shorts?" And she looked at me, obviously thinking, "What are you talking about?" And I went, "I've got this man in my head." Described the man, and she went, "That's my dad." She said he dyed those shorts red because he couldn't buy a pair of shorts red. He couldn't find any. So he dyed a pair of shorts red, and it started raining and all the dye went down his legs. So it became a bit of a joke. And it was a dad basically sending a site, like, you know, letting her know that he was there. And she's like, "How did you know?" I said, "You know, I'm just, what's in my head, it's there. There you go." You know, and she was crying. She was like, "I can't believe the short story." And I was like, "Yeah, it's there." But yeah, it was so funny because I just couldn't help it. It was like, whose are these red shorts?
It is such a blessing. You know, I'm so glad we live now when we do, that it's okay. Yeah, there's still people that are, A, afraid of it, 2, don't want to grasp it, 3, don't believe it, and that's fine. But so many people reach out. So many people believe it. And it's so wonderful because we can now be comfortable with all these things. And it's such a beautiful gift to have inside of us to get to see this, feel this, hear this, and help other people. And what's so cool is we have you girls over on the correct side of the pond to help people.
And the correct side of the pond.
Hey, I'm a Brit. I'm sorry. I am a Brit. My family came over from there, so it's the correct side pond.
Yeah, but you're a Brit that didn't know what Yorkshire pudding was or custard. Custard tart.
I know what custard is. You guys don't know what custard is.
That was funny.
That was
hilarious. What was what?
I had to translate.
Yeah.
I loved that poor waitress's or the server's face as she looked at me. She's like, "You want what?" It was priceless. Hey, it still was awesome. It was, it's one of those beautiful learning experiences. And I've had people ask about, because for the longest time at work, I had Hever Castle as my screensaver at work. And so many people have made so many comments. Oh my gosh, where is this? Can I go there? Can you get to London?
Yeah.
What about the buses? You do miss the bus down there.
You miss the buses and the narrow roads, don't you?
No. The narrow roads freak me out. The buses, not so much. That's our darling Beth.
Yeah, that's true.
But you guys all need smart cars. That's just all there is to it. Smart lorries, smart cars, you name it.
Well, we introduced you to the Spirit of London bus. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That was, that one hurts. That one's sad. But it's cool for those who can sense it and get a feel for it.
Yeah, it's not cool for my partner that has to drive it.
No.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't want to have to deal with what he knows.
No.
That boy knows. He doesn't want to admit it, but he sees stuff, feels it, hears it. It's okay. We love him anyway.
I wanted to thank you girls for coming on and being our guests today. We enjoyed it. We had a great time.
No worries.
That's okay.
And we'll have you back again before too long.
Yeah.
And for those of you on the other side of the pond who need some help, please contact our wonderful girls over there. Is there a link for them?
Yeah, there's a link. If you go to ghostandgirlsparanormal.com, you will see a tab that says Contact Us. There is a link to a email for UK people.
And please don't hesitate. Don't be afraid. So many people will send a message. I got one earlier. It's like, I'm sometimes wondering if I'm crazy. You guys might think, no, we're not going to think you're crazy. These girls aren't either because they've seen so much and they are willing to help. So please contact them.
No problem. And we'll pick it up this end, the right side of the pond.
The right side of the pond.
Merry Christmas, beautiful girls. We love and miss you.
And Happy New Year too.
Happy New Year too.
Happy New Year, guys.
The dark side is always there, waiting for us to enter us. Until next time, try to enjoy the daylight.